AITA for not going to my sister's child-free wedding? I don't want to ruin our relationship by doing this. And I don't want her to be upset over it. But I also don't think I'm being such My 30SM sister, 30SF, is having her wedding at the tail end of October. And she has decided, understandably, that she doesn't want any children to be at the wedding. Which is perfectly fine. This, however, means that I won't be attending. I have 3 young children. 7M, 5F, 3M. As you can imagine, it's hard to find a babysitter for them on a normal day. And even if I only went to the reception, it'd be hard to find someone to watch them for such a long time. Plus, I don't want to leave the kids. I would have to buy a tux and drive over 3 hours to get to the venue. And it just isn't worth it. As you can imagine, considering that I'm posting here. My sister is angry because of it. She thinks I'm being selfish and just using the kids as an excuse not to go. We did get into a big fight about it and we're both angry about it now. Info. Do you have a spouse? When you say it isn't worth it, is it a financial hardship to go to the wedding? Or just a big hassle? The wedding is over 2 months away. If I were your sister, I'd be pretty hurt that you weren't willing to at least try to find a babysitter or make other arrangements. As others have said, you can rent a tux or a suit. You don't need to buy one. Nah. It is really up to you if you want to go to your sister's wedding. It's not up to you if she is upset about it. And it sounds like she is. If you truly don't want to leave your kids for the day or however long, then you don't. But I would suggest you think carefully about it. If it is really important to your sister to have you at her wedding, and if you have a good relationship with her, you should really do everything in your power to be there. Look into your options for childcare. You have some time to figure something out. Maybe your older kids could spend the night at friends' houses and you would only need a sitter for your youngest. Or maybe their mother's family can look after them instead. Perhaps your sister can help you arrange for someone to sit your kids where she lives. Then they could come with you and you would only be away from them for the duration of the event. It could be a fun road trip for you all. As for the tux, I am not sure why you would need one unless you were in the wedding party. In which case your sister should have helped you arrange for one. But in any case, you don't have to buy formal wear. You can rent it from a formal wear shop. That's pretty standard for a wedding. Ultimately, you won't be in awe for doing whatever you need to do. But by the same token, your sister is not in awe for being upset that you won't come. It really sounds like you just don't want to be bothered with the inconvenience of going to this wedding. And that's fine, but it does send a message to your sister about how much you care about her. Your willingness to find childcare, get something to wear, and drive that distance as a gesture of love and support for her on what is a very important and special occasion. ETA. Thanks for the awards. I just want to say, thank you for not just showing up with your kids anyway and actually respecting the child-free status of the wedding. Too many people think they're exempt for some reason. Info. Have you tried to find a babysitter? Do you have a partner that could stay home and watch the kids while you go to the wedding? Or your partner's parents that would be able to? Yeah, it's hard to find babysitters with a 1.5-month notice, but I'd assume the wedding has been on the books for a while. NTA. Here's a perfect case of a bride wanting a child-free wedding even knowing it might cause her sibling to not be able to attend. I've seen enough times that people say it's your choice to have a child-free wedding, but you have to be understanding when those with kids can't attend. Op is a single dad with 3 young children who would have to be away at least 1 whole day due to the travel and wedding. Info in your and your sister's fight about this. What is her suggestion for the kids? Info. Who watches your kids when you are at work? NTA. If it's so easy she can provide vaccinated. Background checked. Referenced childcare at the wedding and reception. NTA. You're respecting her wish for a child-free wedding while recognizing your own limitations and taking the more mature approach. Is there any way you could attend in some fashion? Like appearing over video link for the ceremony and speeches? That's what happens when you make the call to do child-free for your wedding. Some people won't be able to come. YTA. Doesn't sound like you've even tried to find childcare. If you can't, you can't. You say her decision is understandable, but you clearly don't agree or respect it. This is your sister. NTA. Single parent of 3 kids under 10. Probably single income. 3+ hours of driving both ways to spend time at a party. All the while knowing kids are miserable and pissed at home. Feeling like they are excluded from a fun time from all their family. Honestly, I'd not want to go either. It's easier to manage that disappointment by having a fun night at home with the kiddos. It'll cost 1/10 of the price and be just as much fun. For everyone. Not judging folks who choose child-free weddings. I had no kids under 12 at mine. Unless you count my gestating nephew. But I knew nobody who had young kids would attend because childcare can be hard and expensive. Especially for multiple children. Sister is ta. If she wanted op there so badly she could help cover childcare costs if it's mandatory that op attend. Or she can be gracious and send her regrets that he can't make it. Everyone's saying that op is ta because he can't find childcare. Please. Find late hours childcare for 3 kids under 10 that isn't going to cost this chap more than a few days of work alone. Never mind the other expenses of attending a wedding. 3yo might not be completely potty trained yet. Getting 3 children to bed without their only parent, especially considering current health crisis, means 3yo hasn't seen many strangers, is a nightmare. Source. Eldest of 3 to a single parent. I remember how shitty we were to babysitters when mom wasn't around. I am sure family helps in emergency situations, but I assume they'll be attending the wedding. So it's not fair to ask them. And would probably piss sister off more. You really can't win here. Pal. I'm sorry so many folks are questioning you putting your kids first. Op. YTA. You must really not like your sister if you don't think getting a babysitter is worth it to see her get married. And it does sound like you're using the kids as an excuse not to rent a tux and drive a few hours. Considering you mentioned those things here. I am so glad I grew up in a family where getting a babysitter, driving a couple hours and spending some money on attire wouldn't prevent me from seeing my siblings get married. It's crazy to me how many people are cool with him finding any random person to watch his children for 10+ hours, maybe even an overnight, because his regulars aren't available. NTA, there's a pandemic on and you have 3 young kids. Some things just don't happen. Nah, if you're a single dad, that's a huge expense of time and money. Absolutely NTA. You're always free to decline an invitation. Many parents decline invitations when their children aren't invited. Your sister has to know she was taking that risk. You are a single father and we're in the middle of a global pandemic. She had to know there was a good chance that you wouldn't go. NTA. A lot of these comments seem so out of touch. Can assume most do not have children. Op is right. It's not easy to find a babysitter. Think of the cost. The hours op will be gone. and the fact that these children are pretty young. People love to have kid-free weddings but seem to never understand that means some people will not make it, along with purchasing a tux for this day and paying for gas, etc., etc. We don't know if APA's in a position to even do something like this. There is still a pandemic as well, also putting a strain on things. So again, NTA. The problem with child-free weddings is that the majority of people who you would trust with your kids are also invited to the wedding. Not only that, but childcare is hard to arrange, especially if you have young kids and it's for a long amount of time at night. Kids have routines and sometimes they don't do well with changes like that. NTA. She isn't an AW for wanting a child-free wedding. She is an AW for getting mad, upset, or hurt that someone with kids, even family, is unable to attend her wedding due to having kids. Especially when the venue is 3 hours away and it would be 6 hours of babysitting minimum just for driving there and back. That is cost prohibitive and unlikely you will find a sitter for that long anyway. When you choose to have a child-free wedding, you do so with the understanding those with children will very likely not be able to attend. Sometimes last minute if the sitter cancels last minute. If that is your choice, you cannot have any animosity to show hurt feelings to those with children. NTA. This sub is unreal sometimes. Posts about people trying to bring kids to a child-free wedding and they are TAW. Someone with kids declines to come to a child-free wedding and people also say they are TAW. It doesn't matter that he's a sibling. 6-hour travel time. Probably assuming no traffic. Cost of a sitter. Cost of even renting a tux is like $230. That's what I'm about to pay for my brother's wedding. This sub doesn't like kids. And, while I'm at it, also thinks legal obligations trump moral obligations.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Aircast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.